ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for coming out to the September Cedar Lake Board of Zoning Appeals regular meeting. If you would rise and join me in the pledge to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call.
Mr. Burnham?
Here.
Mr. Parker?
Here.
Mr. Jackson is absent. Mr. Capora?
Present.
Mr. Bundy?
Present.
Mr. Austin?
Present.
Ms. Abernathy? Present. Ms. Heidi is present.
First order of business is to approve the meetings from the July and August public hearing.
Having read the minutes, I will make a motion to accept.
And I will second it.
Motion made by John, seconded by Eric to accept. Any questions? Roll call.
Mr. Burnham?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mr. Capora?
Yes.
Mr. Bundy?
Yes, motion passes 4-0. Next order of business is old business. Item number 1, John and Kathy, Tiller, developmental variance, Michael and Kennedy Tiller, in the vicinity of 7611 West 140th Avenue. Petitioner is requesting a developmental variance to construct a garage addition for a total square footage of 1,360 square feet, and a variance of use to allow the petitioner to allow for a second residential use of an in-law suite on a lot in an R2 zoning district. This is a continuation from last month, so Mr. Austin, I'm sure.
Legals are in order. Isn't this re-advertised yet?
It was re-advertised, so after the last meeting where it was talked about, seeing if they could move the garage, make it attached, and the discussion about how attached it is, Mr. Tiller actually found in our definitions where it says an accessory building or structure, it can be considered attached when a substantial portion of it is attached by way of a roof. By doing the breezeway, it's then connected by a roof, which makes it then part of the primary structure. So because Mr. Tiller found that and I was not aware of it, I re-advertised it to make it then correct. So he is now looking for a 1,360 square feet attached garage size, which our maximum is 1,100.
The legals for this revised application are in order.
Thank you, David.
So, Michael Tiller, 7611 West 140th Avenue. So last meeting, obviously, we talked about attaching it, so we went back to the designer. Last meeting, I totally forgot where our sanitary lateral comes out of the house, which comes out on the west side, which is gonna deem. And we talked to Ashley, talked to Kubiak. We can't alter it anyway. So no matter what, attaching the whole thing to the side of the house can't happen. So that's been talked with Ashley Kubiak. We changed it to request an extra 260 square feet for the garage. To be as is, I think Mr. Capura asked for a site plan, so I did provide that to Ashley. I'm assuming you guys will have that in front of you.
It is on your iPad. It's the last page for his item.
Can you repeat that? Kubiak said that there was no way to attach this structure to the existing structure?
Yeah, we have to stay a foot away from the existing sanitary line that's running on the side of the house. And it's in the site plan as well.
Oh, I see.
So it's and when we built the house, we actually had to go through our neighbor's driveway, because there's no sanitary that runs in front of the house. So we took it all the way about 300 feet away to tie it into the actual manhole that's on the corner of 140th. And we kind of have minimum pitch already, so that's coming out of the basement. But changing it to, obviously, building addition now, it changed the side yard, so instead of 6, now 8, to follow. That's all I got.
So all we're looking at now is the 260 square feet overage,
And then to allow for the second residential use of it.
which is a separate, two
Which is-
separate.
Yes, that's the use variance.
Use variance, correct,
I would assume, looking at your house, you're gonna blend it right, this garage right into your house and make it look just as nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Do they have the rendering still?
They do have the renderings, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, it would still match. The renderings aren't updated, we
yeah,
just
it's
changed.
a nice looking house you got there.
Thank you.
So you're meeting the side yard setback now,
Correct,
which you wouldn't have before.
correct.
He was meeting it when we were considering it detached, when it amended to then, well, with this now being amended as being considered attached, it would then have to meet 8 feet. So he amended his plan to make it meet the 8 feet setback required by the R2 zoning standards.
Which, that's, so that's putting it 15 feet away from my neighbor's detached garage.
And this is going to be, what's the correct word for the residents there, Dave? So I don't misspeak sometimes my old school lingo.
In-law
Yeah,
or
sometimes it's not acceptable by today's standards. And what's,
married,
I guess so.
that'd be real legal.
There you go.
Gotta be married though, Greg.
Familial, somebody in your family's gonna live in this,
Yeah, if anything, it would be my father.
okay? So it's not gonna be a rental dwelling or anything
No.
like that?
No.
Is there a way to attach to this approval that it not be used for a rental dwelling?
Absolutely.
Do you have a problem with that stipulation?
Absolutely. No, I don't have an issue with that stipulation, sorry. No.
That was a similar contingency made with the last and last week that this board approved for, the house up on Parish. It was for that petitioner only.
It's more just gonna be for our internal family use. You know, we built the house 2 years ago. Obviously, we didn't have a family then, now we do. We weren't even married then, so it's just more mainly to make it a long-term stay. Extend the driveway a little bit for future when the kids start driving.
And this is all contingent on you buying the property off of, Johnny.
Correct. Yeah, next step I'd go.
But you
put
don't
this
know
in-
it yet, but if we approve it, then you're gonna buy the property.
Correct, I'm gonna have to go through plan commission, put a 2-lot subdivision in, so then I can replat my current lot. And then we're gonna make it as a separate lot since he's in meets and bounds right now. So I'd come in with a 2-lot subdivision, that extra 31 feet would be a separate lot on that plan, which would then.
Well, that's what the plan commission, we'll take it
Correct.
up at the plan commission,
Yep, you take care of that plan commission, correct?
and not here. Okay,
A sanitary sewer line could be considered, in my view, that's a hardship. You need to move that as and it has to, I mean, that's changing the entire plumbing design of the house to move that somewhere else. And, I don't see a good way to do that.
No, the reason it's on the west side of the house is because when we,
It's probably closest to the sewer.
correct, we're hitting the minimum now, just to bring it over there, and that's like 320 feet away. And we tied into the manhole just so we have this big connection.
Okay. Anybody else have any other questions?
no.
You mind having a seat for just a minute, and we'll call for, do we have any remonstrators for this variance? Any remonstrators for? Anyone here to remonstrate against this variance? Anyone against? Is anybody online, Ashley?
Not for this petition.
Okay, all right. And no correspondence of any kind?
No correspondence.
Okay. Being none, we'll close the public portion of the hearing. Building department
It
comments?
doesn't create a problem for the individual, it creates a problem.
Mr. Tiller's right. Him and I looked at this a bit after the last one, talking about how close he could get to that sanitary line, and he is right where it needs to be. He can't really move it any further without covering his sanitary line. Otherwise, we are good with it. Our only requirement is any, approvals be contingent upon plan commission approval.
Okay, for the two-lot subdivision?
Correct.
I guess my only question is that little bit of, roof line that attaches the two buildings together, from what I see in the site plan.
It is enough to consider it part of the primary structure.
That's significant enough to be considered.
Yep. We reviewed that as well.
That's pretty much just a one-line blurb, Jeff, that says attached by a roof structure. It doesn't say 1 foot, 20 foot. It just says attached by a roof structure.
Doesn't sound like he needs a variance for that part.
Doesn't sound like not anymore. No, not for the,
No, just for
because
the
I guess
total.
by our standards now, it is considered a detached, or an attached building.
Yes.
I don't know if fire department's built one yet.
I don't know if anybody run it like that.
He was provided, the BZA packet on Friday as well. So he gets included in all.
Well, it's got 8 feet around the west,
Right, I mean, that's
south
what I-
side of the building too. Actually 15 between his and James's house.
Right.
And then he's got 33 on the other side, right?
Mm-hmm.
We had to hug the one side for the sanitary,
Right.
that's why we had to hug the one side.
Sewer taps are where they're at over there. They-
Right, I mean, that's nothing to do, and he did everything you guys asked him to do from last meeting, and he also included the side yard, so. I have no more questions, I'm good.
That tap's been there since 72 or 73 probably.
No, the tap actually it wasn't, there was no tap
Oh, you
provided.
had to have the tap for that.
Yeah, I had to go and run it through his yard, through his driveway, to the manhole in the corner, it's a dead end manhole. So,
Oh, you already put it there.
I did put it there, yeah, just to meet the minimum, you know, cause Oliphant, made me have a certain amount of pitch on it
Oh, I see.
to require it to float.
Well, that's important. It has to go downhill.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hope so.
All right, there's no more further discussion? I guess a motion would be in order.
I'll make a motion to approve the developmental variance to allow the petitioner to construct a garage addition for a total square footage of 1,360 square feet. There will be no, well, I don't have to say rental on this part, it's the next one, right?
Correct.
Correct?
I think you ought to say it on both.
Okay, well, there should be no rental, no renting of this, attached, garage. It's contingent upon the, purchase of the land from his neighbor next door and upon the approval of the plan commission to a 2-lot subdivision per the finding of facts.
I'll second that motion.
Motion been made and seconded to grant the developmental variance. Ms. Petitioner, any questions on the motion?
No.
Roll call?
Mr. Burnham?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mr. Capora?
Yes.
Mr. Bungie?
Yes. Motion passes 4-0.
Good luck.
One more.
Yeah, we got one more for the variance use.
And this would be a recommendation to the town council. The motion should be made to reflect that. Is there any other further discussion about the variance of use?
No.
Could recommend approval to the town council on the same terms and conditions imposed by the developmental variance approval. And anything else you think appropriate.
I'll make a motion to approve the variance with the same conditions.
This is a recommendation, Greg.
Yeah.
Question?
I'll make a motion to send a favorable recommendation to the town council with the same contingencies as that's the developmental variance, correct?
Yeah, okay.
With the same contingencies as the developmental variance,
Should we,
We add with the findings.
with the findings of fact.
we don't have to call for remonstrators again?
But you did.
Do we?
Well, we did for the first one, but not for this one.
Well,
Is there a need to separate them, since we were,
for safety's sake, I would invite the public.
okay. Okay. Do we have any remonstrators here against the variance of use of the in-law suite with this petitioner? Any remonstrators for or against? Anyone online?
No one online for this item, nothing received.
Okay. Close the public portion of this part of the hearing.
And I'll second Greg's motion.
Okay. Motion been made by Mr. Parker to send a favorable recommendation with contingencies to the town council, including the finding of fact. Any questions on the motion? Roll call?
Mr. Burnham?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mr. Capora?
Yes.
Mr. Bundy?
Yes. Motion passes 4-0.
Mr. Chairman, for the record, the advertising was, that both of those items were advertised and noticed together. So it would have been okay either way
Okay.
to handle the action.
All right, item number 2 under old business is the Marsh developmental variance. Edward Marsh, 9812 West 136th Place, Cedar Lake, vicinity being the same. Petitioner requests developmental variance to construct an 4-foot picket-style fence to be located 3 feet from the property line. Question? Good evening.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Is this one of those front yard things?
No.
It's a corner lot.
No, so it is 2 front yards.
We have issues?
Legal's in order.
Legals are in order. All right, give us an idea what you'd like to do, please.
Yeah, on the side of my house there, 32-foot easement. I'd like to go 29, leave it 3 foot from the sidewalk. And, in order to encompass more of my backyard, play set for the kids, for the dogs, grandkids.
Is that sign along Utopia, that is serviced by a sidewalk?
Yes.
Says here that Nick Mauger looked at it and he was okay with it.
Yes. To me, I just stay 3 feet and I'm staying 4 feet from it.
And your neighbor across the street has his fence exact same way?
Well, most of the neighbors have their fence right up against the sidewalk. I'm leaving mine 3 foot away for, there's, obstruction, people don't bump into it, they don't feel crowded. Plus, it's only a 4 foot high fence.
Is the neighbor across the street, is that 6 foot?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm just looking by,
yeah, across the street. It's,
I mean, he's got a pool in the backyard.
yeah. He came almost to the front of his house with his. I'm coming off the back of mine.
You come back to, off the back of your sunroom?
Yes.
Kubiak and the building department have any issues with this, Ashley? Did they comment?
Tim wasn't overly thrilled about it,
He never is.
but it's one of those things where the neighbor across the way did it and theirs was 6 foot privacy. If I remember the records correctly, what he's proposing is a 4 foot picket style, which means it's gonna be open. And it's gonna be further back from the sidewalk, so it should not impede or obstruct any vision triangles for pedestrians or, vehicular traffic.
I already did for the neighbor. The biggest concern that Mauger had was the fire hydrant was placed right by the ditch. So one half of the ditch is going down 3 foot where they placed the fire hydrant, so. And that's why I tried to give him a little more clearance around that fire hydrant with the fence.
And Nick Mauger did, he even expressed to me earlier this week that he wanted to make sure that you were aware that he did review it and he did sign off on the location of it from the fire hydrant.
How long ago was the request for the fence from the opposing neighbor?
When was that in, I wanna say late 2000s, like before 2010, I can't remember now. I looked it up last month.
Okay.
I don't see the difficulty with, holding to the ordinance. The state of safety reason, but I don't see where the safety factor comes into play here. It'd be 9 feet off your stairs, right?
Yes, that'd be,
The only difference is you're gonna have to move your playset.
yeah, place that's been there for 30 years.
Okay? I don't see any difficulty here.
Because typically we've allowed 20 feet or so off the sidewalk. I mean, especially in these older established neighborhoods, I know we've done a number of things that we didn't allow any.
Since I've been sitting out here, I've never allowed, or seen this board allow 20 feet, I mean, that close to the sidewalk, without being 20 feet off.
Did you say the neighbor across the street has one already? How did that come about? Is that,
He pulled his permit back in 2008, so he would have gotten his variance back in 2007, 2008.
has what goes all the way to the sidewalk?
his goes all the way, pretty much right on the property line, which is
And
in
then he's
Utopia, that's where the
And
sidewalk.
he's carrying it to the front of his garage.
There's one on Drummond and, Utopia too, that's, right up against the sidewalk in the back too.
He's not only past his private yard, he's all the way to the front of his garage, so he must have got a variance to do all of that.
Well, my time,
That's why we're staying with the 4-foot high fence, it's not gonna cause any visual or danger to anybody, staying 3 foot from the sidewalk. It doesn't crowd the sidewalk, kids and people can walk on the sidewalk without feeling, they have to brush up against the fence, so. And I'd like to enclose the place which we've had for 30 years in that place, for the grandkids to play in. So when we have parties or gatherings outside, they'll be within the fence, and then we don't have to worry about being on the other side of the fence, when if they're wandering the streets or not.
Did it again.
And what kind of fence is this gonna be?
It's vinyl or PVC.
50% is that 50% opaque?
Picket cells are 50% open typically.
Yeah.
You can have semi-private picket fence or, 50% picket fences. I believe when I talked with Mr. Marsh, when he filled out his application, it was the 50% open.
These corner lot things are always contentious.
They're awful.
Yeah, but
well, the fence would be back off the corner, so even if it wasn't opaque, 50%, it wouldn't create a view problem,
no,
because it's at the back of the house. So there's plenty of room for, view without the fence, or even with a fence there,
So you're saying from the corner of that intersection, right?
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, so your ways, totally, he's not viewing anything. If you look down the street and go on the corner, these people are right up on the back of their sidewalk too.
And it's a decorative fence,
Had it been 3 feet, he wouldn't have needed to be here. We now allow for 3 feet decorative fence in the front yard.
But we allow a 3-foot one, but we don't allow a 4-foot one.
That is the ordinance.
Yeah, Rover can jump over 3 feet, right?
Yes. Dr. Fu. The other dogs can jump over and get them.
That's if the fence is at the front of the house, not at the back of the house.
Front yard, it just says if it's in a front yard, it can be 3 feet tall as long as it's decorative in nature.
Okay, do you have anything else at this time?
No.
You might have a seat for just a minute unless anybody else has questions.
No.
Do we have any demonstrators for this variance? Do we have anybody here that's for this variance? Anyone against? Anyone here in attendance against? Anybody online, Ashley?
No one online for this petition, nothing received.
Okay. All right, we'll close the public portion of this hearing. Come back up, Ed, please. Any other,
Hey, where that shed is, there a garage coming off, a door coming off your garage? Or is it just all, there's nothing there? So
On the
where the
back
shed is
side?
in the corner, in that back corner, do you have a utility door right there that goes to that shed?
Right.
And that's why
That's
we
why
want to
I
have
did
it
the
fenced
10
off.
by 10 right there.
All right, I'm good.
Yeah, I think, I understand that some of this stuff could be moved, but it's already there, and, for their grandkids, I think it could be a safety concern, because it doesn't take long for a little one to get away from you. So, I think that could be taken into consideration for this.
Well, that and the offset is he took part of his, fence part to put the fire hydrant in, he's off the curb. I mean, it's up to the back of the corner house. He has a utility door by the shed, so that deserves to be closed in. I could see that part, so I don't see why not.
I mean,
The neighbor has a 6-foot and is going all the way to the front of his garage, which, I don't know, whatever, and then, and you have a 4 foot, so, and you're not.
I don't see much difference in a 3 foot or a 4 foot either.
No, and it's thick, so, and it's way, way up from that intersection, so there's no visual thing that'd be a problem.
Any additional, building department comments?
No, I pretty well said them all at this time.
Okay. We are a board member short this evening. You will need 3 affirmative votes for, you know, passage of this variance. Don't know if that makes any kind of difference to your decision-making, but, just wanna let you know we are a board member short. Okay. Any other questions, anybody? Any other discussion?
No, sir.
Motion would be in order.
Is this to send a recommendation to the town council?
I think this is developmental.
I'll make a motion to approve the developmental variance to allow the petitioner to construct a 4 foot picket style fence to be located 3 feet from the property line. Per the findings of fact. I always forget that one.
Should we stipulate that it's 50% open? Would that be prudent?
That makes everybody feel better. I would add that to my motion, that it'd be 50%.
You have a problem with that, correct, sir?
Let me just, because I don't know what you mean by 50%. The slat's a 3 inches by 2 inch gap.
But then there's a slat on the opposite side of the header for the fence, so they,
No, it's wide, it's just a picket.
well, if it's 3 by 2 with a 2 inch opening, then,
Some fences usually are 50% open,
Okay,
because every other
I didn't
side.
know if you meant 3 inches, flat 3 inch gap.
No, just so that the opening is equal to the wood that's there. So
If it was more than 4 inches, it's a safety hazard because a dog or a child can get their head stuck in it.
We have a small dog, that's why I want to keep it 2 inches.
okay. It just happened, you know, since it was brought up in discussion, I just didn't know if you.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made. Did we get finding of fact,
I added
thing?
that to my motion.
You did, okay.
Got it this time.
Okay.
Oh, prodding from Dave.
Okay. All right, motion's been made and seconded to grant, this developmental variance as presented. Any questions on the motion? Roll call?
Mr. Burnham?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mr. Capora?
No,
Mr. Bundy?
Yes. Item passes with a vote of 3-1. Set to proceed.
All right, thank you.
Good luck. Item number 1, under new business. Fasano? Is that correct? Fasano? Vicinity of 6544 West 130th Avenue, Cedar Lake. Variance of use is requested to operate a hair salon in an R2 zoning district. Mr. Austin?
Legals are in order.
Didn't we do one of these a while back?
I thought, ma'am, you were already in front of me. Wow.
I was, back in February,
All right, so you
March.
got someone else that's doing it. I thought, never mind. Go ahead.
did a
Sorry.
couple of these this year.
Hi, good evening. Can you give us an idea what you'd like to do?
I'd just like to operate a salon out of my home.
Okay. Is this something that you currently do?
I was doing it, I didn't know I needed permission. I'm registered with the state, paying taxes, but I guess I wasn't aware the town had to give approval, so that was my fault.
All right, hours of operation?
Usually, the earliest I start is 9, and I'm usually finished by 7, one night a week. Usually I'm finished by 3, but 1 or 2 nights a week, I'm till 7.
Okay, so 9 to 3 typically?
Yes, Tuesday through Saturday. Some Saturdays I don't work, but it's 4 to 5 days a week.
Okay.
I remember being like a stipulation of like, you can only have, like, was it 2 clients there at a time?
I do one at a time.
So one at a time?
One at a
And then one would be able to wait while the other one
Oh.
finishes up? I remember doing something like that
Okay.
for the last one that came in.
That was the one in, February.
And there were stipulations, that was one of them, correct?
For
Do
that.
you have
one-
those stipulations?
We did our stipulations with that one was she could have a maximum of 2 clients, no signage. You gave her hours of operations as part of her approval. That was in your motion of favorable recommendation to the town council.
And that's the same, is this what it is, it's a recommendation?
This would be recommendation,
Okay.
as a variance.
Let me double check the minutes from that meeting and I'll let you know if there's anything else.
Okay.
Where is the entrance door?
I just use my front door.
Your front door?
I have a bi-level, so we'll go right downstairs.
That's fine, and parking?
I sent a photo of my driveway, it's very large, I don't know, she added it.
No, we have it.
We've
Oh,
got
okay.
yeah, we've got an overhead.
Yeah, so in
I
the,
don't know.
in the driveway, yeah, we can fit a decent amount of cars, but,
She's got 3 cars on this driveway, and there's room for.
yeah, we have
another
5
one.
cars and ourselves, and then we have room for others.
But I don't have the pictures, so. that's
Oh,
why
you
I
don't,
asked.
okay.
Good, that's right.
You're on, there's
No,
another
no,
tab
one.
besides the letters there, John.
Yeah, go over one more. Let's go down one.
Next tab down?
Beaver?
No,
No.
there's a letter, and then there's,
Oh, never mind. I apologize.
Okay, so no signage?
No signage.
Okay.
Okay. So for the last one that you guys did in March, you sent a favorable recommendation to the town council to allow the petitioner to operate a hair salon. That was in an RT zoning district, with the hours of 8 AM to 9 PM, a total of 5 days a week, with no Sundays, parking to be in driveway no more than 2 customers at a time. You made the variance to, stay with the petitioner only.
so that just means that once you vacate the house,
Right.
the next person doesn't automatically get the
Right.
same privileges.
You live next to Bob Decker, huh?
He is my neighbor across the street, yeah.
What a great.
Yeah, he is a great guy, he wrote me a letter,
Yeah.
yeah.
On the Blake estate?
Yes, yeah, he lives right across the street.
Right, so there'll be no on-street parking, everything will handle
Yeah, everyone can park in my driveway.
in your driveway?
Yeah. We have a very large driveway.
And no smelly stuff, right?
Not
Of course,
offensive.
there's gonna be some.
Oh, yeah, that's,
9 to 3, Tuesday through Saturday, 1 late night, no signage.
I have 2 late nights usually.
Two late
Yeah.
nights?
Yeah. Sometimes, I mean, it varies on my kid's schedule, but usually 2.
But usually no later than 7,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You have a problem stipulating that in the motion?
Till 7.
Till no later than 7? I mean, as far as.
Would we do 8, just to make sure?
Yeah, we could.
9 to 8? Yeah, I would prefer that, just in case. Thank you.
No signage, no on-street parking. Limit of no more than 2 clients at a time, 2 cars at a time. Anything else?
No.
Okay. Anybody have any other drilling at this minute?
No.
You might have a seat for just a moment, please. Do we have any remonstrators for this variance? Any remonstrators for this variance? Anyone here against? Any remonstrators against? We do have a piece of correspondence, I see.
We do have 2. So the
2.
first one is, it states, "To whom it may concern, I live at 6588 West 130th Avenue, Cedar Lake, Indiana. I am a neighbor of Molly Versanos. I have no objections to Molly having a home salon." And that's Cottiston Rustevsky, Versano Rustevsky, and Denise Rustevsky. And then the second letter says, "To whom it may concern, we are neighbors of Molly Bersano at 6544 West 103rd Avenue, Cedar Lake. We live across the street from the couple and have absolutely no objection to her doing hair at her residence. For the most part, we can't really see any difference in our area when she has clients there. Thank you for your consideration," and that's Robert Decker and Rhonda Decker.
Okay. All right, and nobody online? For the particular item?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, being none, we'll close the public portion of the hearing. You can come back. Building department?
No major comments. I do have an answer for you. They do want to go ahead and get in and check out that hair bowl.
Okay.
I'll coordinate with you and the building inspector to get a time set.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody have any other questions, discussion?
No.
Okay. This is a variance of use, so a recommendation to the town council is in order.
I'll make a motion to send a favorable recommendation to the town council for the variance of use to allow the petitioner to operate a hair salon in R2 zoning district per the findings of fact.
With condition.
And with conditions that were listed.
Contingent on the building department, was it the building department?
We were looking at hours of operation of 9 to 8, no later than 2 nights a week, typical days of operation Tuesday through Saturday, maximum of 2 clients at a time, no signs and no on-street parking.
Contingent on Ashley's comments that she cited. And does the building department gotta do something too?
They just need to get in and take a look at the hair bowl that's installed, making sure it's in a safe and proper
And
location.
my motion would be contingent on the building department doing that as well.
And their approval of said bowl location.
And their approval of said bowl location. This thing just keeps on going.
Wow, and I'll second it.
Repeat that, Jeff.
Motion has been made, to send a favorable recommendation for the variance of use for, typical Tuesday through Saturday operations, 9 to 3 with, 2 late nights, per week permissible. No on-site store, signage, no on-street parking, and a limit to 2 clients, at a time at the property, at the residence, including the finding of facts. Roll call?
Yes, sir. I suppose I should have said a verbal.
We met eyes, I was smelling what you were stepping in. Roll call?
Mr. Burnham?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mr. Capora?
Yes.
Mr. Bundy?
Yes. Motion passes 4-0. Your next meeting,
I have a draft certification ready to go, I'm just waiting on the meeting tonight, I can have it ready to go by Tuesday.
Thank you.
item number 2, under new business, Bieber, Michael A. Bieber, vicinity of 14109 Lowerman Street. This developmental variance is to allow the petitioner to construct a 1,260 square foot detached garage of metal material with a 420 square foot overhang for a porch for a total accessory structure of 2,075 square feet and change, including the existing shed to be located 26 feet from the road right away. Everything in order, Mr. Austin?
It appears the public hearing is properly advertised.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
How you doing, Mike? Good.
Okay. Will you give us an idea what you'd like to do?
Would like to put that accessory building up, for the most part, to be able to put, watercraft, my boat, inside, if I need to do maintenance on it. I got a second boat through my father's passing, which I want to do a minor restoration on. to be able to have it usable for future use. And instead of having it in that, rock pad area that I have in the back, I would like those two pieces, to be able to be in storage. So if I have to do some work on them, I'm doing it inside, it's not in my garage up front, so vehicles don't have to sit out. And then with the, reference to the porch area, just a place when we have get-togethers with family and stuff, being able to be under roof and just enjoy the art.
How are you gonna get back to the garage? Is there a driveway or anything?
There would be a driveway onto 141st Lane coming off of the overhead door.
How big is that property?
Ashley, could you give me that number? I don't have
100
it.
by 185?
18,040 square feet.
Okay.
I meet all the minimum setbacks with no problem. There's,
And how big does the property have to be to put this type of building up? Couple acres, isn't it?
43,560 square feet.
That's an acre.
Yeah, that's an acre. I know that because I had something to do with that particular order.
So, he doesn't meet the requirement for property size.
Correct, which is why he is requesting the total accessory structure size. It is at 2,075.28 because we are including the, square foot overhang for the porch and the existing accessory structure on the property.
Oh, so you got that shed that's in the back behind it?
Correct.
So you have the driveway off 141st Lane, that'll go to your new proposed garage.
yes, sir.
And you're 25 feet back,
Yes.
or 26.
We set it at 26, yes. And I believe that's roughly puts me 12 or 13 feet off of my building,
12.9.
so almost 13.
And the total coverage he's over by 500 square feet.
He would have to have, he's in the 1,000 square feet with the total, if we're looking at just the two together. 2 seconds, because I didn't calculate that math. If it was just the 30 by 42 and the 16 by 12, he would be at 1,452, but because we are including that overhang, that puts him at that 2,075 square feet that's being requested.
Which will always be open, it's not gonna be enclosed at any point in
Oh,
time.
that open porch that's on the proposed building?
Yeah, it's gonna stay open.
Correct.
I mean, it's more of a visual thing, I think.
Yeah, I wouldn't consider that accessory.
I don't, sure, it's not, no, it's just visual. You look at the picture of the building.
Okay.
Again, I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's all right, I was just gonna say, one of the reasons why you're here too is that we don't offer, metal,
Metal structures.
metal structures as part of our ordinance.
Is that?
So no metal, basically no metal pole barn.
You can do a metal roof, but you can't do metal sides.
Metal buildings are allowed if they are greater than 1,001 square feet in size, provided it conforms with all the rest of the requirements of Section A, because he doesn't have the lot size, and that, based on the front, from the 26 feet from 141st, it doesn't comply with all regulations, so it's part of the variance request.
So, just so I'm clear, is this, if it's over 700 and if the outbuilding is over 734 square feet or something like that, it has to have a footing, correct? A 36-inch footing, you can't do a monolithic.
I think so. I'd have to double check with Tony or Jason in the building department.
So is this building gonna have that footing, or are we talking about?
It's gonna have to have it's not gonna be able to be monolithic for it. It's gonna have to have a foundation.
So you'll have a trench,
So we'll have a trench.
you'll have a trench footing. Now.
And metal sides are allowed on that type of structure now?
So the way it's written in the ordinance is if it's 1,001 square feet, it's allowed, but you have to meet all the other requirements for an accessory structure. So typically when that comes, it's gotta be near 1.1 acres or greater, because you have to have the ability to have at least a 1,001 square foot building. And which, anything under an acre doesn't have that ability, its cap is 1,000.
Right.
So because if you had an acre lot or greater, you wouldn't need the variance for the metal structure.
I know you can do a metal roof, cause I did, I just didn't. I didn't know that, I might have done metal sides, had I known you could do metal sides.
Oh, yeah, if you have he's got
If it was
1,260 square feet without that overhang.
Would've been over an acre. Fine, I don't know if I am that or not. Well, anyway, you got a problem with doing wood on this, instead of metal?
I would prefer not to, if there was any way around it.
I got a problem with the size of the property. I mean, it doesn't meet that requirement. He's got,
But part of it is because they're counting basically it's a covered porch, and I don't know that much should be counted in it. Or at least that area should be counted in the structure. I mean, looking at Eric knows a lot about construction too, well, you do too. It's because of the shed that he's that much over the square footage, or is it the building's size itself?
So with the building and the shed, he would have, without including the overhang, it would be 1,655.28 square feet total.
I see.
So that would, even with that, it still puts him 655.28 feet over. The overhang got included because that was a recommendation of Tim.
over lot coverage.
Oh, no, he's under lot coverage. His lot coverage is
Well, what are you
17
talking
point,
about being
oh
over?
wait, he's over the amount of accessory structure size.
Oh, well, and I'm talking about property size. He doesn't have enough property.
He would only.
He's got less than half. He's got 18,500, say, and his, 43,500 and.
About 43,560 square feet is for a pole building, and this technically is not, because it's gonna have footing under it. This is a garage.
It's a metal building. We don't allow metal buildings on less than an acre.
Well, that's why I asked him if he would consider wood. You know, there's alternatives.
There is, and I was trying to make it as maintenance free as possible.
I understand.
You know,
I'm just trying to figure out a way to work with you.
sure, absolutely. You know, and if I've gotta go back and figure out, you know, different siding for it.
If it was a vinyl sided garage accessory structure with I mean, the way that does he still need all of these variances for that?
The only one he wouldn't need at that point in time would then be of the metal material. He would still, if it's still the same size, with the porch and the existing shed, he would still need the accessory structure
Well, I
size.
guess the question I'm gonna ask next, I'm relatively new here to the BZA, and I'm not sure what past practices have been, but what's the past practice been for, I mean, he obviously has the area because he's not gonna be over the lot coverage. To have an accessory structure like this, what has been the pleasure of the BZA in the past in these situations with an oversized garage? Has it been granted in the past, or has it not?
We have granted oversized garages in the past, yes, but it's the structure being a metal structure and being too small of a lot.
Well, if we take the metal structure out of the equation, it's just an oversized garage in that case.
Correct. With access to, I mean,
mean, it's not like you're gonna be driving through your front yard, you have a road that you can hook a driveway to. And your setbacks are all
Right,
good.
I'm even 10 foot off of the property line to my neighbor to the east.
Right, that's why your lot coverage isn't the issue, it's the type of building now, that's the issue. So, am I right?
I mean,
That
Yeah,
seems to be the discussion.
I mean, yeah.
I'm pro garage space myself. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I don't know, what are you, 3 blocks from the lake? From where you're at?
Block and a half.
Mm,
The back end of my subdivision is the lake.
Okay. Well, I'm just trying to think, and then how many different home sites are between you and the lake,
He has the front of the road,
right?
And he's right next to the body, aren't you right next to the body shop?
Yeah.
so here's his property, he wouldn't be in anybody's vision trunk because everybody's in behind him.
Right.
Yeah, and I guess, I think I'm kind of in agreement with Greg. If you keep all your toys in the garage,
Which the town wants everybody to do that anyway.
Right, so you gotta give them room, place to put it all.
That's always been my view.
but I guess I had the contention with John that, it's still a pole barn in a residential neighborhood if once you boil it all down, and I think I'm not real comfortable with that.
Well, by definition, the metal sides, a pole barn is a post building. The construction is completely different than building a garage. A garage has to be built on 16-inch center walls. It could be trussed. The roof still has to have sheeting before the metal roof can go on it. So there is a difference in the construction of a pole barn and a garage, especially if it's got, because of his square footage, he has to do a 36-inch footing. So what he's not really asking for a pole barn. He's asking for a garage with metal sides.
Well, his diagram here, Greg, excuse me a minute, is 8 foot on center from upright to upright.
Let me look at that.
He's got the diagram he has here is for a pole barn. Plans he's shown us.
It is posted.
With 12 foot, 8-inch walls.
Okay. I misunderstood that then because I asked Ashley specifically about the footing requirements, and that wouldn't be required with a pole barn, with the square footage. So you're gonna have to do the footings regardless. If you can skip the post structure and just do framed walls like you would do with a garage. The metal roof's fine, you're probably gonna have to do vinyl or wood siding. And, could you get your arms around that?
But it's a choice.
Me?
Yeah.
If everything else falls in line with the ordinances, yeah.
Well, he's still gonna be over the square footage per
I
section.
can go along with the square footage, with the coverage. I can go along with that.
Hey, where your shed is, your existing shed right now, there's a boat right behind it. Is that your boat or your neighbor's?
That's fine.
That's yours?
Yes, sir.
Is both of those yours?
Yes, sir. That's the boat that I told you that's my father's boat.
And then there's another, like a shed or another garage, that's the neighbor's?
That's the neighbor, yes, sir.
So if I get putting up your garage, I want to call it garage, that's far, both of those boats aren't gonna be sitting there anymore.
Correct. They will be inside.
Does your neighbor's driveway in the back, does it go on your property?
According to the lot survey, when I had it done, a very small portion of that does.
Obviously, you don't
I
care.
didn't realize that.
Oh, absolutely not. No, as a matter of fact, that's
I see.
coming to my backyard, make that swing and back up.
Well, is that the back of his house?
Yes.
So do we need to change the terminology of how he wants to build the structure then? Is that what we're saying?
I don't think that's what John and I would prefer.
But the size that he wants to build is fine, as long as the structure that he wants to put up will meet the building department's codes. It's not, we're not gonna dictate what the building department's gonna tell them what to build. They know what to build, and anything over a certain amount of size, he has to have a footing walls anyways.
Yeah.
So unless it's a stick building like Pole Barn, then I think there might be a different.
That's the way
But
you
if he's
get
going to a
42,000,
garage of this magnitude, he's gonna have footing and walls, there's no way.
There's no way around it.
No, no.
Why do you need the building that big?
So for the way, if I put the boats in end to end, to cheat it to one side, I'm gonna need the depth.
How many boats you putting in there, two?
Two, yes. So, or you can have them side by side.
Well,
Actually,
I guess my question is, can you shrink that down a little bit?
actually, I started at 30 by 50, and I brought it down to 42. I would actually have wanted, but I didn't know what the setback was from the road, so when I checked that out, that's when I made the design to be 42 in depth. Because I also want to be able to, you know, have my tools and stuff off the back side of the building, so when I'm working on stuff, everything is all there, and not having to run up to the front garage.
That's what I'm asking you, what's gonna be in it? You said storage earlier, now you wanna have a small workshop, and that's what I'm trying to find out, why you needed that size.
Yeah, I stated
And I
that.
also think that you probably need to get a deferral and go back to the drawing board and bring us a sketch of what you're going to wind up building.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that. I wasn't able to, I chose metal on the outside for maintenance. You know, instead of worrying about vinyl tile buckling and all that other stuff. And I did say that I was gonna be working on the boats, doing general maintenance, winterizing, so on and so forth, or upgrades. So I took tools into account that that's what was gonna be in the building itself.
I know exactly what you're talking about, because I actually bought another place in another county that has two pole barns, because every time I got the body off of a car or something, there ain't room to do what I need to do, and it just drives me insane.
Well, that and trying to do it in the garage, if you can't finish the project, then you can't put your cars in the garage. And then
Yeah.
Mike, is your house siding right now?
My house is
Yeah.
vinyl siding. yes.
Vinyl siding? So cosmetically, you could be able to match it, you'll be able to match this garage.
And that's why I
To
actually
your
put
house.
the roof line the way it was too, because that's gonna match the pitch of the roof facing 140.
So cosmetically, that vinyl siding is gonna look way better than it. So you keep your size, you go with vinyl siding, and you're probably gonna be
Absolutely,
fine,
and
so.
the coloring that I picked also matched
Right.
the house. So, yes, vinyl siding is, if I have.
Yeah, I know
stick
there's,
built
you're
in.
gonna incur a cost with it, but cosmetically, it's gonna look better, and it's big, it's big. But the footing walls are, being the size of this, he's gonna have.
There's no way around that.
He'll definitely have it. I think it's like, you go over like 12 by something, even in your shed, you have to have that. So, I mean, it's the size of some of the houses that are over here. He's got 1,260 square feet.
And it still isn't enough, I guarantee you.
No, and if you put your, you're gonna work on your house, put your tools in there, you're gonna open up your garage on your existing house. I mean, I get it.
You have a jet ski?
Well, pretty soon, well, but no grandkids will have no choice, you'll have more than that, and a go-kart and everything else.
I mean, you got oars and you have, flotation devices and all that kind of stuff takes up space.
It'll fill
Sure,
up fast.
fishing equipment, it does, and that, the purpose of that building is to get stuff out of the house, all in one place. So, when you're working on stuff, if you have to stop because it's too late, you stop and go back to it. You're doing your cars and stuff like that.
Okay.
Because doing that and winterizing and covering everything up in the wintertime is just a pain.
Okay. You mind having a seat for just a minute, unless you have anything else you want to bring up at this time? Do we have any remonstrators for this variance? Any remonstrators for? Any remonstrators against this variance? Anyone here against? Ashley, anyone online?
No one online for this
this
petition
one?
and nothing
Okay.
received.
And nothing received, all right, we'll close the public portion of this hearing. Okay, you can come back up, Mike.
I have a question for Mr. Austin, though. Should he come back with another plan, or can he proceed with this variance and request just an oversized garage?
That's really up to you, you can do it either way. Sounds to me like there's a different plan been hatched here in the course of dialogue. And if that's the case, probably ought to bring it back so you can see what it means. But again, that's your call.
Well, in my stipulations, it says garage, it doesn't say pool, I'm reading what it says, proposed garage. It doesn't say proposed pole barn, so when you go to build a garage, there are specifications of the town of Cedar Lake that you have to build this by.
No question. Just
So,
that.
if you stick it with a garage, he's gonna have to build a garage, he's not gonna get away with putting a pole barn, because it says proposed garage, I mean, that's how I'm reading it, I would think, isn't that what we have to go by?
Aren't the buildings proposed, or the building proposed, pole barn building style?
Well,
And, I mean, the language says one thing, but the reality is there's a different structure being constructed.
Okay, and from the, information that's in our packet, he's got load-bearing walls, and he's got, rafter details, header details, and,
yeah, he does.
and, I mean, you look at it, and obviously, if that's what he proposes, then it's a pole barn.
Well, that's what's in your package, I'm looking at it like you're looking at it. So the verbiage does not match the intended structure to be built.
So, I guess then we have to go back with. Again, we don't have a problem with the size you're putting up, it's just what you're building out of. So unfortunately, it probably would be best to redo what you're gonna build. Yeah, and get rid of the steel, you can still have a steel roof, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's one thing, there's no maintenance there. I mean, other than that, other than the cosmetic of the vinyl, you can scratch the house.
Talking about a roof's the best thing I ever did, by the way.
I want to put it on the house when I get ready to do that,
It's just awesome.
Or he can come back and say pole barn, pole structure, and garage. As part of the analysis.
So you're saying change the design or change a word?
So that they're accurate, match, and we have a ruling by this body on what is going to actually occur.
Garage.
And can we do that without re-advertising
Yes,
that nuance?
refer it to the next meeting for that clarification to be provided.
What's the date for the next meeting, Ashley?
October 12th?
When did you want to plan on starting doing this?
I was
October.
hoping that it,
Oh, you were trying to beat the weather?
yeah, the only thing that will probably, I gotta do the footing and stuff like that. Hopefully just get the shell up this year.
Trench, maybe
Yeah.
time. If it's a trench footing, they dig it, piece it up, put your floor in.
Right.
You start, that's not terrible as long as you have somebody set up for it.
Yeah, and it's all gotta stop until I actually get approved and get my permit and go forward with it. But that's what's required to do it stick built, then that's nothing more than me saying, yes, I agree. Conform to what you want and just redo plans and build an oversized garage.
Correct, accessory building.
Which it says the development variance is allowed the petitioner to construct a 1,260 square foot attached garage of metal material, get rid of the metal material, and say wood material.
Sure.
Would that be sufficient? But I would still like to have, if he wants to put a metal roof on there, I mean, that's, again, that's not our variance, that's gonna be the building department when he goes to build it, right, when he submits his permit.
See, I didn't have any
Correct?
issues when I did mine. I built it from the ground up.
There shouldn't be any problem with a metal roof, I mean, it's totally different.
We're okay with that, right, John? With the metal roof?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm definitely okay, but I love metal roofs.
The only bad thing about it is the snow slides off when you're standing under.
That's why they make snow jacks.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if I read it that way, there's no way he can do this building, if I change the wording from metal to wood.
I'd still like to see a different drawing, I heard him lose
Lose what?
the pole building design he's got in the packet here.
Alright.
'Cause that's a conflict between, even if you change the words,
Okay,
that's, you know what I mean?
Okay,
of course I do.
all right,
You'll have to change that.
Sure, absolutely.
okay. So it sounds like, I guess we need a request from you to defer this to our next public hearing, if you're comfortable with doing that.
Sure. I requested it defers till the next meeting, so I can go back and redesign and resubmit plans.
I'll make a motion to defer this item for the next public
And
meeting.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Motion been made and seconded to defer this item to the next public hearing. Any questions on the motion? Roll call?
Mr. Burnham?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mr. Capora?
Yes,
Mr. Bunny?
Yes. Okay, we'll see you next month.
Thank you.
Once you have those plans redefined, you can just email them over to me.
Okay. And that's the,
October 12th.
thank you.
Before, everybody departs on this, Mr. Bieber, you know, the dialogue and engagement you just went through is really, really important for our zoning ordinance implementation. There was a lot of time, and those of you who participated in it, a lot of time spent on accessory buildings and area and quality and material and size of lot and coverage and all of that. And this is very helpful. It sounds like you are amenable to what's proposed, but the bright star part of it is that our ordinance is being followed strictly. It gives a good path for future assessments and decisions that you're gonna make. Inevitably, you're gonna make it, again and again and again, and this will help provide the additional guidance that will help staff, will help, your building department, and will be a clear kind of explanation to folks with property that propose to do what Mr. Bieber's proposing. This is all good, even though it seems like we lost a lot. So, at least from this seat, that's what I see and what happened as a consequence of having ordinance 1402.
You got something else, Mike?
The only other thing I'm gonna ask before I do the redesign, is everybody okay with the height? The wall height?
What was the wall height?
12 and a half.
Well, I mean, I get, that's.
Well, that's
something
on
else
the,
that-
on the pole building,
We could do 12 and a half on a stick built too. What's the height restriction on the zoning ordinance, Ashley?
Overall is what, 14 feet?
oh, the wall is 10
Wall
foot.
height 10.
It's 10 foot, right?
Wall height 10, height is, if he's matching style, roof type, it can go higher than the maximum height.
Well,
But
his
we,
house has a tall roof anyway.
Are you,
It's
you're not
high
taller
level,
than
right?
your existing house, are you?
Well, they shouldn't be.
The proposed garage is not taller than the existing house, correct?
Yes.
Is that it?
as long as it's meeting similar, design and height, roof design.
Isn't a roof, the wall height
Wall height is 10.
10 feet? And then the peak of the roof cannot be higher than the existing house.
Correct.
Okay, he's, on this drawing, he showed us, I believe it was 12 and a half foot walls,
Yes, sir.
you know? Now, if you're gonna put trusses up when you stick build it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so, how high is the boat or gonna be when you push it in, or what, I don't know, is it a pontoon, is it a speedboat, is it
They're fishing boats.
a speedboat?
Fishing boats.
Fishing boat with a cuddy cabin on it, and then, fly bridge, or,
No, sir.
no?
No, no,
No,
it's not
no.
like Michigan boat. No.
It's got 2 oars and a,
Is it taller than, it will fit on, when you put it into a regular garage door?
Yes.
okay, so then it won't affect any, if you have prefab rafters, it won't affect them either. That won't affect you bringing the boat in, is what I'm getting at.
Correct. If I got the 12-foot walls, I could put a small storage area above. That's what I was getting at.
12-foot walls that's gonna be a variance item, probably, I think.
Yes, because it's 10-foot walls.
And I'm saying that because I don't want you to walk out here not knowing that.
That's why I asked the question before I would redesign, based on the design that I already have.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna give you a variance on that, you're gonna get turned down when you go to submit that for in the building department. That's where you're gonna have to get a variance to do that.
So 10 foot.
So then you just wasted, yeah. We're not gonna have a variance in regards to your height of your wall. We're variancing, giving you a variance on is the square footage.
You
Right.
could cut that roof though instead of trussing it and get extra height inside the building.
You're not, yeah, so you could come back and give yourself a double, you might have to come back. Yeah, don't do that.
That's why I asked the question. So 10 foot.
But that variance, how it's written, it has nothing to do with the ordinance.
If you cut the roof, you can get another 4 feet, and it's gonna be a little extra work in the construction, but
It's
it'll get you some more height inside the building.
Alright, I'll get the design done.
You might even be able to get a truss designed to give you more height inside the building.
Oh, when you have it with that 10-foot wall,
I'll have
Yeah.
to take a look at it, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I'm just throwing options for you to look at.
Just wanna make sure that when I present it,
It's
everybody's
done,
gonna be all good with it.
right.
Okay? Thank you.
Have a good one.
Thank you. Under new business, item number 3, Taco Bell developmental variance on the city of 13313 Wicker Avenue, Cedar Lake. This developmental variance is allow the petitioner to install 139.39 square feet of signage on the new Taco Bell restaurant.
No, it's not me.
Okay. Mr. Austin?
Legal's in order.
Do we have a petitioner?
He's online via Zoom, I have just asked
This
him from
is
you.
one, okay. Good evening.
Hey, good evening. This is Matt with Black River Bells. Here tonight to request development variance for building signage on our new Taco Bell that we're building there in Cedar Lake, 13313 Wicker Avenue. I believe the way the ordinance currently reads, we're only allowed 1 square footage of building signage per frontage, per linear foot of building frontage. Currently, our building is approximately 29 linear feet of building frontage. Due to the small footprint and frontage of the building, doesn't allow adequate signage for the building. Our biggest concern is the building not being visible without enough building signage. This is a right-in, right-out only site. Our concern is, traffic stops, people not realizing it's a Taco Bell restaurant until last minute without adequate building signage, stopping on Wicker Ave, causing backups, potential accidents, stuff like that. So that is our request tonight.
Okay, and from the legend here, you have, index of up to number N or letter N as far as the number of signs you'd like to do?
That is correct, yep. This is our brand book that was supplied by our sign installer, sign vendor.
All these signs are gonna be on the building?
That is correct, yes. That is our,
Except for sign number N?
correct, that's the pylon sign out front.
How much are they over?
39 square feet,
39 square feet?
40 square feet, maybe
Well-
39.39.
They'd only be allowed approximately 29 square feet of signage, so they're about 110 square feet over. Because they have, a lot of the Taco Bells, if, you remember when they came forth from the Plan Commission, they're going to a smaller, design, especially with the fact that you have more people doing online ordering and just going through the drive-thru instead of going in. So they have a small footprint building that's only 29 linear feet, and the zoning ordinance doesn't dictate how many signs they can have. It's just 1 linear, or 1 square foot for 1 linear foot. So if we followed that, they could only get one of their elevation signs. And as Matt indicated, with it being a right-in, right-out, there would be concern if they don't have enough signage to properly indicate that it's a right-in, right-out, its location, that it could cause some issues on Wicker Avenue.
I guess I misread this then, because it said the building up to a maximum of 100 square feet for the building. The signs can be divided up between multiple occupants of the same building, but on this, in the verbiage here, it says 100 square feet.
Is the maximum allowed. So they are 39.39 square feet over that,
Okay.
but over the amount that they're allowed for their size building is 110.
Okay.
So directional signs like, right in, right out counts as signage?
We do count them, yes.
I would think that would count as safety. Because, you know, that's definitely a sign that you need up there. You know,
Their signage is their menu, their drive-up.
to me, the sign, how many of these signs are gonna be on the building itself? I mean, what's the square footage of those
So the
signs?
building, so the building itself, it'll have, 3 Bell logos on it. So it'll have a Bell logo on the walk-up elevation, which is the south side of the building. Looks like it will have a Bell logo on the west side of the building, which is the frontage side of the building, along with the words Taco Bell below it. And then there will also be a Bell logo on the north side of the building, along with the Taco Bell, wordage as well.
These bell signs, that's just for identification?
Correct, yeah, it's just the Taco Bell trademark.
Is it the same for every Taco Bell building that you guys build? Pretty much the same
Yes,
signage, pretty much
yes.
the same layout? It's like a industry standard for Taco Bell?
Correct, it's a corporate requirement.
None of those are flashing or lit, or will create a, eyesight diversion or anything, right? I mean, you're gonna see them, but it's not gonna draw your attention so that you're gonna be unsafely driving through there.
No.
Correct, they are illuminated,
Yeah.
so, you know, at
Yeah.
night, the signs are illuminated, but they're not gonna be flashing, cause any distraction.
So there's no messages on them?
Right.
Correct, no.
Just
They're laminate bases.
I think with it being part of corporate, and we just had the same thing arise down the street from them with a little bit more signage because of the way and the color, that the way the corporate was demanding that they put on that building. I don't see any reason why not, Harold?
That was at Culver's, right?
I don't wanna say any names.
We're not gonna go name-wise, but we all know what we're
Yeah,
talking
but-
about.
I was thinking about those onion rings.
And there's no, like I said, there's no, like, digital thing on 41, so that won't be distracting. There's no, it just says go mobile on the bottom.
Yeah. So I don't see, any reason that it's what corporate demands and we want Taco Bell in town, and I think it's fine.
There you go.
Okay, do you have anything else to, provide at this time, Matt?
No, I believe that's covered everything.
Okay, well, sit tight for just a minute if you would. Do we have any remonstrators for this variance? Any remonstrators for? Any remonstrators against this variance? Any remonstrators against? Anybody else online, this particular item?
Not for this item and nothing received.
Nothing to say, all right. We'll close the public portion of this hearing. Doc, you don't have?
No, just
No?
listening.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Building department?
We're good with it. We're waiting on any variances to proceed forward with the permit. It's sitting in my office waiting.
Okay. Hours of operation? Matt, I'm back to you, I'm sorry.
Yep, typically we're 8 AM until 2 AM in the morning. That's kind of decided based on, sales and what we're doing. That's something that our operations team will decide, once they get opening and operating there, but typically we're 8 AM to 2 AM.
Okay, are these LED lights that will burn 24/7, or will they be timed or dimmed?
They don't have the ability to be dimmed, so they will be lit up.
Okay. I think that's the only questions I have. Did we get anything on the building department?
We're good with it.
Okay.
I'm good.
Colonel, the same.
Well, I get it. I get it. Okay. We just had discussion before about the size of some signage. I know we gave, a little bit of grief to, the auto parts place, O'Reilly's, when they came in for the size of their, monumental sign. But, other than that, we've allowed for the Walgreens building, what have we allowed, what do they have? Eight or nine building signs along that building, besides their monument sign for drive up and the 2 or 3, Walgreens, W Whirl, signage, so.
That all ties into the site plan. That's how a lot of that happened in design.
I guess it's kinda unique that it's only, just under 30 feet of frontage along the corridor there, so. All right, this is a developmental variance, motion would be made by this body.
I will make a motion for development variance to allow the petitioner to install 139.39 square feet of signage on the new Taco Bell restaurant to the finding of fact.
I'll second it.
Motion been made by Eric to allow, seconded by John,
For finding the facts.
including the findings of fact.
I did say that, didn't I?
You did.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear it.
Roll call?
I didn't hear it
Mr.
again.
Burnham?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mr. Capora?
Yes.
Mr. Bunny?
Yes, motion passes 4-0.
This proves more fun than the planning commission.
Light 'em up.
You good?
Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you, good luck.
Are we on Herman?
We are on Herman. Item number 4, developmental variance for Sandra Herman
and then it's standing at 7429 West, 136th Court in Cedar Lake. This developmental variance is to allow the petitioner to construct a freestanding carport over their driveway less than the 6-foot setback requirement.
Tables are in order.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Give us an idea what you'd like to do.
Well, I have a 100-foot driveway, and I don't have a lot of property, so I'm trying to get a carport installed because I'm now living here permanently, and trying to ease my stress for the winter. So I'd like to put a carport up so I don't have to do so much cleaning of the snow off of my car, and to keep the acorns off of it because I'm getting dents all over the roof of my car. And it would just make it easier for me.
I assume you're going with a carport because it's too expensive to build a garage.
I'm going with a carport because I don't have the space to build a garage. I would love to build a garage, but I don't have the space.
Well, space, like, what do you mean, like, you have 100-foot, well, you have,
It's 100 feet long, but it's only 19 feet wide.
It's a flag lot.
yeah.
Could I put a garage on that?
Not with that variance. It would probably need a lot for the size of lot and style of lot.
Because I'd love to have a garage if you guys would let me have one.
Yeah, that's the only place you could put it. And it wouldn't have any side yard setback.
Because it's a
And it
carport.
could only be a one car, because she'd have to do it on the driveway. There's no
Right, I
other
mean,
way.
that's the carport doesn't need a variance for side yard or
It
anything.
does say 6 feet, but there's no way she could meet that, again, anywhere on the property, which is why she's in front of the board. That no carport can't be freestanding.
Carport can't be freestanding.
It has to be attached, it can be open on 3 sides, attached to the structure.
No way she's getting that done either.
No way I'm getting that done. So I went through all of this and now you're telling me that I
No,
cannot do
you still need the variance, that's why you're here.
Oh, okay.
No, you went through the right process. The way a carport is allowed in the zoning ordinance is if it's attached to the house and it's only open on 3 sides. And it would have to be 6 feet from the side yard. You would not have been able to meet that either without a variance. So you absolutely did the right thing.
Only option she's got.
This is my only option, and the walls are gonna be 8 feet. The pole, the height is gonna be 8 feet, and on the one side that's facing the water, I wanna put 2 panels that are 3 feet each, so it'll be 6 feet down to help stop some of the
Wind and
wind
snow
and.
blowing.
And I'd like to put another panel of 3 feet on the other side, just to keep it stable, because I have been out here in the winters when there's 75, 80-mile-an-hour winds coming off that lake. So I'd like to make it a little stable so that it doesn't collapse.
Meets my definition of hardship.
And that's park property just to the west of you?
Yes,
That's like the HOA park or?
yes.
Along the driveway.
I remember it's right along the driveway.
she did include a picture of her driveway around where she wanted it, to where her car is located, and there is a copy of her survey with the highlighted portion being where she's requesting to put the carport.
Who cleans your driveway? You?
Who's going to be cleaning it? I'm hoping to find somebody to come and clean it. I just got the driveway in last year, and, I've had one of the neighbor kids come and I paid him to clean up all the acorns just on my property and filled up a half of a garbage can.
Squirrels aren't eating enough.
Oh my gosh, no, they're not, and they're very
It's gonna be
tiny
great
and skinny by me.
Oh my gosh, they would come down buckets.
Fill out flood. I have times.
They always get a lot of acorns and a lot of snow, but we'll see.
Did we do that deck variance for you?
No, I wasn't allowed to have it.
You were not allowed to have, okay, because I remember the size of it, I remember some particulars about this lot, but I don't remember what kind of actions we took.
We wanted to extend it 4 feet because there was a possibility that I was going to be I was going to be worse off than I am now, and I was going to be in a wheelchair, so I wanted to be able to roll out there, but I was denied because one of my neighbors claimed that the association was going to put up a fence, which wasn't true because, and that's when my husband was alive. And we went through everything that we needed to go through, but it didn't pan out for us.
Okay.
It's a small area, so I gotta get variances for everything we do.
And well, like Greg said, there's certainly hardship there, because, I mean, if you weren't trying to get any kind of roof line or roof over your vehicle, I can't see any other way to do it.
I can't either, there just isn't. It's probably the most challenging lot I've ever seen.
Yes.
Okay. You have anything else you want to present right now?
No, just please let me get it.
Okay. Have a seat. We got a little procedural things here. We'll be calling you right back up. Do we have any remonstrators for this variance? Anyone here for this variance? Any remonstrators against? Any remonstrators against? Anybody online, Ashley?
Not for this variance and nothing received.
Nothing received. All right, we'll close the public portion of the hearing. All right, you can come back up. Building department?
No major comments. Our only request is that any approval similar to the one that we did for South Shore HOA, that it's approved based on the plan submitted. That way it makes it easier for the permitting process.
So you can build it to specifications that were stated.
That's on her survey, yeah.
So it's 12 feet wide.
For the plan submitted.
20 feet long and 8 feet tall. How wide is her existing driveway?
19 feet.
So you can give yourself 7 feet to get through to the house. I don't see a problem with that.
Is that going to be put into, concrete footings, or how they give you any indication how it's gonna attach to the ground?
They did ask when I was printing out what I'm looking at, if it was going to be installed in concrete or in asphalt. This is going to be installed in asphalt. Because my driveway is all asphalt.
Okay.
I have no idea how they do it.
It's a company that's gonna do it.
Well, I'm looking at Allen's Factory Outlet. They're supposed to, I haven't ordered anything, I haven't done anything because I wanted to give permission to do it first. I didn't want to go with that and then not be able to put it up. But I'm looking at Allen's Factory Outlet, who will deliver it and install it for, I have a picture of what I want. Do you wanna?
We've got,
We got the photos.
it's in our packet.
Oh, okay.
But you're delivering, they're gonna install it for that price too? I mean, I don't wanna know what you're paying for it, I just wanna know that you're getting it installed by.
Yes, according to their internet, they ship and install.
We're just concerned that it's gonna be attached properly and it's not gonna blow away in a windstorm or something.
Because if it's not anchored, it's gonna blow away. So just make sure that it gets anchored.
Okay.
There has to,
So,
and that, I've seen that before.
so attaching it to the asphalt isn't
That's
sufficient?
technically anchoring it, but you need to anchor it down somehow.
Well,
That
there may
attaches
be
to
a
the asphalt.
requirement that it has concrete, a concrete anchor in the ground.
I guess that's what I'm kind of getting at, because don't we, at one time, didn't we consider carports like a portable accessory structure?
I'm not, I was gonna defer to Ed.
We did?
Does she have to submit a building permit for that? She has to submit a building permit for it.
Yeah, they're gonna have to come, whoever installs that's gonna have to come down here and get a permit, and they're gonna have to install it per the town building standards. It's
Right.
not like they just come out and,
So if you have to pull a permit, ma'am, you're gonna have to, it'll be anchored.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I still have to get a permit.
Yeah, and you submitted one with your variance application, we'll just need to verify that and I'll check with the, inspectors, because all contractors have to be, licensed with the town. People who typically do drop-offs like Yoder, they're just dropping off, but what they're dropping off and installing, they'll likely need to be licensed with the town, so we'll check it at our level.
they'll be required to meet the standard, whoever.
Yeah, and the
I mean,
inspectors will review
the
it.
size of the structure is 12 by 20, I mean, I guess it'll have to fall and see where it lies. Like if it's a shed, it has to have concrete there.
Yeah, the inspectors will review it for compliance with, what we follow is the Indiana Building Code 2020, so they'll review it for compliance and make sure it's built to code,
There you go.
Okay, so then I can order it.
if they grant approval.
Okay. Okay.
It's their decision, I'm just saying, if they approve it, when it comes to the building permit, they will review it and approve it based on Indiana Building Code. So they will have to build it to
Code.
code.
Okay, well, that's fine with me.
Any other discussion or questions for the petitioner?
I'm good.
No, I'm good.
That'd be good.
Okay, motion would be in order.
I'll make a motion to grant development variance to allow petitioner to instruct a freestanding carport on their driveway less than 6 feet setback required to find the facts.
I'll second it.
Can I ask a question?
Maybe.
Not that question, but,
Go ahead.
there's a fence along my driveway on one side, and then I got 19 feet. How close can I get to that fence?
It says no setbacks on your request, doesn't it? Am I reading that right?
Oh, so I can get really close?
That's why our request was, to include the contingency as per the plan submitted.
Well, you're gonna
Because
want
with it being 12 feet, it's really, and her only having 19 feet.
Your structure's 12.
No matter which
You
way
have
you look.
19, that gives you
Yeah.
7 for, God forbid the fire department has to come through. You're gonna want that space.
That's why I want the 7 feet
You're
on
gonna
the
have it.
side where the association property is,
Oh, ma'am,
because it's open.
that's what was granted, so.
Okay,
If they both pass.
thank you.
Okay, motion been made and seconded to grant, this variance request as presented, including the finding of facts. Any questions? Roll call?
Mr. Burnham?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mr. Sephora?
Yes.
Mr. Bundy?
Yes. Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Item number 5, Ranieri, developmental variance, vicinity of 7528 West 128th Court, Cedar Lake. This developmental variance is to allow the petitioner to construct a 32 by 24-foot garage on a lot without a residential structure. Do we have a petitioner for this item?
Yes, online via Zoom.
Okay. Good evening.
Good evening.
State your name and address for the record, please.
Luigi Ranieri, the address is 7528 128 Lane, I think it is.
Okay.
You're right.
Okay. Mr. Austin?
Legals are in order.
Mr. President,
Yeah.
what has the BZA done with this type of request in the past? Because I don't remember this ever happening before. Usually they have to be done simultaneously, correct?
Typically correct. The most recent one that I can recall, happened just before I got hired on with the town. And the petitioner was granted the variance to build the accessory structure without the primary structure, contingent upon a residential structure being built upon within a year. He had not completed that part, came in for an extension because the house didn't get built in time. And he was granted the extension, and in that extension request, he had to have occupancy within 18 months of that extension request.
We also had one up on Hilltown.
Yeah, that's what the gentleman was still working on his house. He tore down the house, and replaced the building work.
Yeah, and he wanted a place to have electricity at, so that he could work, but I think we denied that.
That was, yes.
That was the one where it was a really hilly piece of property and it
Yeah,
fell
that
off
was
dramatically.
May, June?
I do recall doing that, yeah.
You do have one down in Cedar Point Park where the house is on the lake and the structure is off of Ninth Street.
Well, I've seen that before.
We've done that quite a
This
bit.
property does not have any structure, and this is his property that he owns. There's no house that he owns that's adjacent to it.
Okay. All right. Mr. Ranieri, you still with us?
Yes, I am.
You want to give us an idea what you'd like to do?
I would like to build a structure of the size that you guys have in front of you in regards to putting boats and big runners in there and not just leaving them in the open and leaking with eyesores. I was under the assumption that he had 5 years to build a home on that after the garage. The only reason I was putting in for a garage because there is another garage for sale on a smaller piece of property than I have, 2 blocks away, that the garage has no home on it, and it looks to be about 10 years old, and it's for sale without a home. So I just assumed I could do this the same as whoever owns the garage that is a couple blocks away from me.
Well, we have to look at every individual lot and application independently from each other. So what may have happened in the past may or may not happen again.
Okay.
Okay. So when is the timetable for building a primary structure?
I thought the limits were 5 years within the garage being built. But now I just heard, which was surprising me, it was a year. So if that's the case, I might as well withdraw my request because I can't guarantee it'll be the year. So no, I don't see it in a year, but I do see it, but not as it's in a year time. I've got to come back in front to get another extension. I just assume withdraw my request and buy the home 2 blocks away, if not the home, but the garage 2 blocks away that is for sale right now. with a garage and a property that's half the size of mine, so if that's the case, I'm sorry I wasted all of you guys' time. And my money, but, you know, that's how it goes, but there is again, like you're saying, there is always another way of looking at the other guy's property being done the way it is, but it is for sale right now, and it's half of the size of my lot, and, it's the same garage, it's the same size garage as I want to put on mine. I would have not been putting this request, and I tried to buy a home two roads away from me that was built by the school. I was told it was built by the school, and I don't know if that's correct.
No, in the vicinity where you're talking, yes, I believe they've built, a couple homes up in there.
Yes, that's what I was told. Can you get me, in touch with any of them people, with any of the people who did that? I'd let them do mine.
Okay.
I tried to purchase that one home. I was a couple days late. I was at the lake with my family and I saw it, and it had been sold the day before, so. If you could put me in touch with them, I'll build the same one.
Well, I don't think that's in our jurisdiction to, refer, real estate transactions to people while we're sitting on a board.
Okay.
Okay? So you'd like to withdraw your request?
I only had a year to guarantee that I would be able to build a home, or I can't, I won't be able to guarantee that, and then have you guys, I mean, because I didn't fulfill my part of the obligation.
Do we need to make a motion for that, or does he do that
We
himself?
probably should, correct?
He should request.
So he should request it.
And you should ask, or both of them.
Okay. So you are officially, withdrawing your request, is that what we're understanding?
If I'm on the year one, I'm on the year turnaround, yes, I have to.
Okay. I mean, I think that's a reasonable request. I mean, to leave something open-ended on our part is extremely dangerous as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, I understand, but I was under the assumption that it was a 5-year term, and someone earlier said that it was, they did it for someone else in a year turnaround. That's a little shorter. It's gonna take, I've still gotta get people in line just to do the garage. I won't be able to guarantee in a year I'm gonna do anything and have it done in a year, so.
Sounds like that's the only case that we have to compare it to currently, correct?
In recent memory that I can think of.
And the other property that he's citing has the existing garage, there's no way to know what happened with that, the house could have burned down, it could have been,
I'm not even sure which
I'm not
property.
even aware of it.
I think that was one you guys had on the unsafe building list that got rehabbed. And the garage was,
If it's the one I'm thinking of on Hilltop,
that's the only one I can think of in that area, and I know that area pretty good.
It's adjacent to, 129th.
the 12901 Hilltop, we haven't demolished that house yet. It's
No,
all
No, I'm
No.
talking about the garage on the lot.
But the road
by itself.
is next to 129th, 128th court.
I can look on my phone, I think I have,
That wasn't a situation where the garage got built in anticipation of the house, the garage just exists there on a lot for whatever reason, but I'd say it's something from the past. I don't know.
I find it on Zillow all the time, I don't know the correct address, so I'd be lying, I need to look on Zillow, that may have it, but, gotta do that with this, yeah. Well, see their name.
I don't think that garage got built before, it hadn't got built when there was a structure there.
Yeah,
7424 lot land for sale, 7424 West 140th Place, Cedar Lake.
That's been a different area that is, further south, that's south of town grounds. That was an unsafe property. That was that one.
So, there was a home, or?
There had been a home that had been deemed unsafe, the house was taken down, the garage has been left.
Okay.
Some more history happened after that too.
I was
I
sure
remember
we
something
down
like
the
that.
street. Hobby Garage 24 by 30 for your, lot is ready for your,
Yeah, that lot isn't, near where your property is, it's further south, it's down off of Moore.
It's probably a mile and a half away from yours.
okay.
Okay.
So but I can purchase that, correct?
It's for sale.
No, that's not for this board.
But the-
Yeah, so, okay, so, thank you for your time, and, just for the record, you are officially withdrawing this request, is that correct?
Correct.
All right, I need a motion to accept, Mr. Ranieri's,
So moved.
okay,
So second.
Removed.
motion and second, any questions? Roll call?
Mr. Burnham?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mr. Capura?
Yes.
Mr. Bundy?
Yes. Motion passes 4-0. All right, sir, have yourself a nice evening. And item number 6, developmental variance, Lawrence Goff, vicinity of 6500 West 129th Avenue, Cedar Lake. This developmental variance has allowed the petitioner to construct a 1,200 square foot accessory structure of metal material with a 128 square foot attached porch / lean-to for a total accessory structure of 1,453 square foot and change, including the existing shed.
Mr. Chairman, I need to, make a minor amendment on the record. I discussed this with Mr. Osham prior to the meeting. There is also a request for a peak height of 18 feet and an eave height of 14 feet.
This is between Parish and 41.
This is in, also in Lemon Lake Estates, this unit,
Little Lake Estates.
off of Fairbanks.
Across from MacArthur School.
Yep.
Okay, what's the amendment then, Ashley, to,
For a peak height of 18 feet and an eave height of 14.
What's the lot square footage on this one, Ashley?
Lot coverage,
23,025 square feet.
you beat me to the punchline.
Mr. Chairman,
yes,
the legals are in order, and I concur with what was just explained to you by Ashley, for purposes of completion of an accurate record and an accurate application.
okay. All right, so with those acknowledgements, we're still okay to proceed?
You are.
Good evening,
Good evening.
how are ya?
Fantastic, how are you?
Good, give us an idea what you'd like to do?
Well, I was looking to build a 30 by 40, pole barn. I didn't know they wouldn't allow me to build. Now, I guess, when I look to the northwest of my property, if I stand all the way in the back lot, look to the northwest, I do see another pole building. So, I just assumed that was okay to do. I know that now that's not okay.
Well, I guess, I'm sure if they're in the town jurisdiction, it may have to do, they may have more property than you, I don't know what kind of.
I know they do, I didn't know that was a restriction.
Okay.
But it would be used for storage and then like a wood shop, I work on cars and stuff, my own. I have quite a few trucks, I'd like to keep them in a building.
Okay.
And then the lean-to / porch, that would just be like a little hangout area of the family.
Okay.
It is quite lengthy, I think it's 307 feet in length and 75 feet in width.
What would be the percentage of coverage if this is built?
Lot coverage, 0.06.
Points,
0.06, I calculated a few times because altogether with the existing house, the footprint of the existing house, proposed structure, and the existing shed, it's only like 1,436 square feet on a lot that's 23,025 square feet. So it is a extremely low lot coverage.
So you own, you own all the, why,
Not even
why is
1%.
the tree line the way it is though? You have a tree line that everybody's paying and then everyone's got that space, why is that? What's
That
there?
was like that when I bought the house. I assumed because the previous owners planted those trees to block the neighborhood that went in behind us, if you're talking about that tree line.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. So your new building that you're proposing, is it gonna be in front of that tree line or behind that tree line?
In front of that tree, because that tree line is 20 feet off, maybe less, off my back property line. So it'll be in between the tree line and then the middle yellow dotted line that you see there.
The utility easement?
Yeah, exactly, the utility easement.
I think that tree line is built on the utility easement.
Goes on the utility easement?
No, it's not, it's all the way in the back, there's no tree line.
If I'm looking here,
According to
That's-
your
that's-
plot survey, it's in
there's
it's in
a
the middle.
10-foot utility and drainage easement that's kind of splitting your property
Mm-hmm.
almost in half, not quite. If I'm looking at it and comparing it to where these trees are, some of them might very well be in that easement.
Okay, so I don't have any trees on that.
Yeah, you don't have any trees.
Okay.
Your neighbors do.
Yes, my neighbors do.
So you're technically, your building is gonna be on the other side of the utility.
Yes. It'd be on the north side of the utilities.
You're kind of in the same predicament as Mike that was in here earlier.
Yes.
I mean, you have a pretty deep lot,
Mm-hmm.
but it's, I mean, it's not very wide,
Yeah.
so. So you don't have any kind of really land at all, other than, you know,
Back,
just because you benefit by the depth of the lots,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And I take it from your description here, this is a pole barn,
Yes, it is.
okay? Well, I'm sure you heard the description, discussion many times over, with the previous petitioner about, you know, pole barns,
Yes.
especially in residential, with R2.
how do you get back to this building?
I have opening a gate in my fence, I can drive in the back. I have a gravel lot. Just goes to the back of my garage, and then my gate opens, I can drive in my backyard.
So what the stuff in between that it looks like you have about 9.5 feet,
Yeah,
and that would be on the east side of the house?
yes.
On the other side of the house, how much room do you got?
You're talking on the west side?
Yeah, on the west side. Is it equal to?
I think it's close, I can't, I'm not,
I was just wondering, because there's no measurement.
I mean, there's no measurements, but it looks like visually, it looks like you might have a couple extra feet on the west side. I mean, but that's just, again,
Approximately 11 feet.
way to go. Okay, do you have anything else to present at this time?
no, that's all.
Okay. Might have a seat for just a minute. Do we have any remonstrators for this variance? Any remonstrators for this variance? Anyone here against? Any remonstrants against? Anyone online, Ashley?
No one online. There was one letter received.
Okay, and that's in the packet here, which we could go through.
Yes, sir. It says, "To whom it may concern, in regard to a zoning appeal by my neighbor Lawrence M. Goff at 6500 West 128th Avenue, Cedar Lake, Indiana. My main concern is this structure may cause additional flooding into my back lots on top of the extreme flooding I currently get from the Crystal Oaks development behind me at 6450 West 129th Avenue, Cedar Lake, Indiana. Thank you, and that's from Linda Harkis."
Okay. Okay. Well, if we have no other, remonstrance, we can, close the public portion of this hearing. So you can come back up, please. Building department?
There is no major comment on this one. It was circulated to all inspectors.
And they're allowed to have a pool barn?
No,
They're not.
43,560 square feet,
How much?
43,560
If
square
it's
feet.
under 1 acre or less, they don't have the allowable, accessory structure size to meet all other requirements for a metal structure.
So he could do something similar to
So
what
you could
mine
do what
did.
that gentleman did earlier, change it from metal to wood?
Wood frame, figure out a square footage, 10-foot maximum wall height.
And then you have to build it within their, specifications of, Thompson or West Building Department.
So I
It's
can't,
gonna be bigger than 700 and, I wish I knew that exact number, but I think it's 734. But 734 hit, over 734, I believe, there's a number.
There
It was
is a num-
7 something.
There is a number, where it goes from a monolithic board to a trench board. I can double check with the inspectors in the morning.
Well,
Yeah.
a shed that's 12 by 20 has to have footing,
Monolithic.
which is a trench.
Yeah, but this needs if it's over 700, that 700 square
Oh,
foot
okay.
range,
You
it has
are.
to have a 36
Yeah.
foot.
There's you are, you're
Yeah.
over, that's definitely.
So you're.
I will let you know that I have had huge complaints about drainage over there. And when Sandra Joseph was with, Christopher B. Burke, she tried to correct some of the stuff, but,
I remember that.
according to what those people say, they're still on my back.
Is that in that subdivision that he lives in, or is it
Yeah.
the new development behind it?
No,
And
it's
that's
in the old,
pouring
it's
into
in
there?
Lemon Lake Estates.
That doesn't mean he couldn't build a structure there, he would just have to have.
Well, your problem is getting, if you have flooding problems, getting whatever you want to work on back to that building.
right,
I mean, that's gonna be your downfall.
that's kind of what I chose, the area I did, because that area usually stays pretty dry. So I can, drive through my own yard to it, if I needed to.
If you look on GIS, you can kind of see where the wet area is. If you look at like wetlands or floodplain maps, none of that shows as a wetland or floodplain, but you can see where there's typically water from the most recent county aerial, is in this area here. Most of it is on his neighbor's property, and then he's got this bit here, where he's proposing his structure is up in this area.
So again, it's my understanding that he can't build a full barn, he needs to build an extended garage, and then change his prints.
You have to figure out what the square footage
So
of that structure.
where you wanna build it, you're fine, what you're
Okay.
gonna build it out of, that's where you have to change.
Now, can I do the height, or do I have to stick to that 10-foot height?
Well, the height of, it can't be taller than your existing house, right?
If you
No,
make
wall height.
if the wall height
Wall height.
is the 10, but if you make it a detached garage that is the same roof line and style as your house, you can exceed the height.
In other words, the pitch can be, the
That's the-
As long
roof
as the
pitch
pitch
can be
is-
high, but
yes.
the wall is only 10 foot.
So you do the same thing that we told Mike, you can either cut that roof to get more height inside the building, but you can't exceed the height of your house.
Okay, so my roof height has to be the same height as my house, maximum,
It
but
can't-
my wall height can only be 10 feet.
It'd be 10 feet.
Without another variance.
And you may be able to get a truss designed to meet.
So can I get another variance to go higher on the wall height?
Have you guys done that before?
Well, is that something that then should be re-advertised?
Yeah, it means you have to restart over. And you need that height for a reason?
We'll put a collar lift,
Oh, to put a car lift in
Yeah.
there?
Yeah, you could probably, I don't know that you'd get that, and I don't think there's anything that says you can't have a car lift in there, but you can do that, and I've seen it done with an engineered truss.
Okay.
So whatever you're raising goes, has the space to go up.
Okay.
And you can still do that with 10-foot walls.
Okay.
So you have to reschedule, go to next month?
Well, I think it sounds like if that's what we're asking for, redesign it, without it being a pole barn.
Full structure, 36-inch footing,
Garage.
10-foot max on the walls.
And then overall height no higher than your existing structure.
Okay. Can we defer this for him?
No, he has to, he probably,
He has to be re-advertised?
If you want, If you
That's only if you want higher than 10-foot walls.
That's what I don't understand, because with the advertising, because I advertised for a 14-foot wall.
That's the amended portion that we did at the beginning of this portion where I made my announcement.
So you did advertise
Yes.
for 14-foot walls?
Yes.
Was that part of your initial,
Yes, it was.
application that we just?
It was amended.
That was the amended
That was
portion.
amended.
It was part of his original application. When I was creating the advertisement for it to be published, I looked at the size, the overall square footage, and had not gotten to the height and the eave. That is my error. That's why I talked to Mr. Austin about it prior to the meeting, and he advised me to make that amendment on the record.
for 14 foot.
For the 14-foot eave height and 18-foot peak height.
So then, in that instance, it would not have to be re-advertised?
No.
So we just
It
give
could
it
come back around
continuance
and
to
deferral.
next month?
Okay.
Is that correct?
So I guess you could conceivably keep the request for the 14-foot on the books if you wish?
I wish.
Okay, keep that with your, you know, with your new schedule of what you'd like to do.
Okay.
But we do need a formal, well, should we open this up finish the rest of the public hearing?
You should.
Okay.
I thought you asked for remonstrators.
Did I?
Yeah, you did.
I did already, okay, all right, it's getting late.
With one written remonstrance.
Which we read.
Right, okay. All right, then, yeah, I guess it's up to you to ask for deferral.
I requested a deferral for the next month's meeting.
Okay.
You ready for a motion?
I guess I am ready for a motion.
I'll make a motion to defer this item to the next public meeting.
And Eric will second it.
Okay, motion made by Greg. And Eric. Any questions on the motion? Roll call?
Mr. Burnham?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mr. Capora?
Yes.
Mr. Bundy?
Yeah. Okay, we'll see you next month.
Thank you.
Comment? Public comment?
Mr. Chairman, Dr. Kirstenkorn is here and has an item that I suggested he bring to you. It goes back to the Taco Bell project.
My name is Scott Kirstenhorn. My business address is 13317 Wicker Avenue, Cedar Lake, Indiana. I came to the meeting today actually to bring up subject with, I guess, regarding the project at Taco Bell. After listening to the procedures here, obviously this is not a remonstration issue. We are having problems with the construction. We've had multiple instances too, in particular, where they have cut our Comcast lines. One was actually the,
Is it a fiber optic line?
no, it was not fiber optic. No, this is a coaxial cable. So the only fiber optics in the area are actually AT&T, which are being put in right now. That was actually brought to the CVS on the corner. So it's not been brought to either of the properties at Taco Bell or ourselves. So this is actually a coaxial cable. Coaxial cable, unfortunately, carries both our phones and our internet service. And our software for the office basically relies on the internet service. So one of those instances was actually the placing of a silt fence. When they put the silt fence in, they unfortunately did that before the actual location services were done and went right through the line. Luckily, we were able to get Comcast out the next day. They took care of everything for us. There's no real major losses in time or anything. The second one was when they were actually putting in the retaining wall on the south end of the property. When the area was dug out, Dan Giacomone from PGX, who was doing the digging, who I know personally, he asked me to come out and make sure there were no problems with the dig. The very first dig that he put in, he pulled a little line out that happened to be a coaxial cable. We pulled it off the bucket. No, there was no problem. We just pulled it right off the bucket and it was sitting there, no problem. So after that, though, they started going through the retention wall, and they had the whole thing put up. And the very last day, they decided to cut the line for whatever reason. I'm not sure. It wasn't really in the way in any way, shape, or form. So I contacted the town building department. They could not give me the name of the general contractor over the phone. So they took my name and number and were going to give it to the general contractor. I never got any return phone call from that. So I had contacted Tim Kubiak. He was going to try to take care of the situation. He gave me the name of the general contractor. I had texted him a letter that I had put together regarding the damages and costs and things that were associated to this. And he basically said it was the location services fault for not putting the line or locating the line. And the other one, the concern was that the line was actually on their property. As I said before, I was there when the dig actually happened. The portion that was pulled up was actually the very southern portion of that bucket. It was right on the property line. So basically, he's saying they don't have any responsibility in this issue. So I talked to Mr. Kubiak again. He was going to talk to the general contractor. I've been trying to reach Mr. Kubiak, and I've been unsuccessful at that. So I came to the meeting tonight to bring it up during the remonstration portion. Obviously, it wasn't the correct time to do that. As Mr. Austin said, he suggested that I come and talk under public comment. So I just wanted this under public comment. I'm also looking for some advice because I'm having some difficulty with this situation and would kind of like it to be handled. So any advice would be greatly
Do you have a remedy for him?
Somebody in the building department needs to return a phone call.
Yeah. Again, Tim was just trying to help out, to be perfectly honest. I don't want to put him under the bus in any way, shape, or form. But,
We have
again,
inspectors who look at these projects, and that's part of what we need to be attentive to.
Has
did
there
you guys have
been
some coverage?
any other incidents since the second incident?
No, thankfully none,
Okay,
yeah.
because I did reach out to the person who was on Zoom tonight, Mr. Matt DePraw, and I told him about the issues that you were having, and he said he'd talk to his general contractor and make sure that no further or additional issues like that would happen.
Sure. Well, and that's great. Unfortunately, they did initially. So, but no, nothing has happened since then, just to answer the question that you had. Comcast actually gave us an extra line, just in case we were in any more problems. So, we have an extra line in the office now if it ever comes up again.
I did reach out, and he did say he'd make sure that that wouldn't happen again.
Yeah. One of the problems that we're having, though, is, as I said before, Comcast carries both their phone and internet services. And Comcast could not come out in time over the weekend to fix everything. So I actually had my IT guy come out and he spliced the line because they could not come out until the following Wednesday. So basically I had no phones and no internet service for my office, which basically renders us pretty helpless. So my request to the general contractor was to pay for the Comcast coming out and fixing everything, and also lost time and business interruption. And like I said, he just basically said it wasn't his fault.
That would be, to me, a civil matter between two private property owners.
Town has no
Does the
jurisdiction in that.
general contractor have surety posted with us, Ashley?
Yes, every contractor has to have, as part of their license, for generals, they have to have a Lake County license, there has to be a recorded Lake County bond, and we have to have a certificate of insurance.
I knew that. So they've been put on notice of the circumstances for surety.
I talked to Matt DePraw, he is the head of construction for this franchise of Taco Bell, and he said he'd contact his general contractor, make him aware of the situation, because he hadn't been aware, like I hadn't been aware until Mr. Gerstenkorn called, and I think he talked to Michelle in the building department. We had no knowledge of it until he called. So the second he called, I got on the phone, I called Matt DePraw. He said he'd let his contractor know so that they would be aware of it and make sure that it would not happen again.
When I contacted the general contractor, he had no knowledge of it, which was after my contact with the office. So that's not an issue on your side, obviously.
Is Matt LaCroix, the same person who is on the Zoom tonight?
Yes, he is with Team Lighters. He is their head of construction. He's not their contractor, but he's the head of construction
So
and
he's responsible for this.
organizing it.
Contractor's a gentleman by the name of Mark. I did not get the last name. Last initial was C. That's the only information I have.
without having the building permit in front of me, I couldn't tell you who the general contractor is for the job.
No, I've been in contact with them already.
Aren't these to the public knowledge? This piece of paper I have in my hand, isn't that out there, they can grab whatever they want?
Well, this is,
Yeah. Well, your has to.
I'm sorry?
but
Oh, whatever.
if they're
Everybody's
wanting
right
a
here.
list of contractors on a building permit, it has to go through a public records request, which is why I gave you the answer I did when you talked about wanting to get the general contractor's information.
Should he have to go through a public records request after he's already been harmed to find out who's responsible for the harm?
Ashley's right legally, strictly legally, but, you know, we have a businessman here, and especially in our community, who lost service for, what was it, 3 days? Did you count 3?
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, into Tuesday.
I mean, yeah.
2 days in
I
office.
can only sympathize with you because if it happened to me in my office, I'm going on vacation, because there's nothing we can do. Pretty important, actually.
Well, this body doesn't have any authority over that. I'm glad that you brought it.
That's why I didn't say anything about the
But
demonstration
I would
portion, that has nothing to do with what they're signing.
suggest that Ashley, I mean, if the building department can do whatever they need to do to help this guy, I think that would be, beneficial to, I mean, he was there first, you know?
And if it's utility like Comcast,
He shouldn't be having to have an IT guy come in on the weekend to repair his line so he can operate his business.
Legally though, if he's wanting remuneration from the other company, if it's between two private citizens, because the town tries not to get involved with that without direction from legal, I can't guarantee that we can step in and tell another company that you have to pay somebody else. I don't know if that would be an overreach of our
You didn't hear me say
position as a
pay.
municipality.
I didn't say pay anything. My suggestion is there's a remedy here, you need to have the attention of the contractor that caused the problem, and they need to be put together.
I will
Town
have-
government's not involved in mediation, but we are responsible to help our citizens
Well,
And I
the
can have,
surety bond is in place.
for a reason.
Yeah, if they break something, it's the insurance is supposed to pay to fix it, correct? If it was a town utility,
It
there
isn't
would be a
much,
claim.
by the way, and what's it, $5,000, Ashley, $7,500? It's a small amount of surety that goes with the contractor registration. So that is one thing we do control. But, construction permits, oversight of construction, those are things that we have, control of. We issue permits. They're operating and digging on permits we issue. So, anyway, I did suggest that, Dr. Gerson, before I make this, explanation.
I'm glad you did, I'm glad it's on the record, and then hopefully Ashley can help you get some sort of relief from that situation.
We may talk tomorrow, not tonight. You guys been here for a while. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it, guys.
all right, thank you,
Yep.
Scott. Anybody else on a public comment?
Terry Broders, 14513 Morris. Just want to make a suggestion on the petitioner's situation. I've filed plenty of permits in multiple counties and towns, and a lot of villages and towns I've filed permits, and in the fine print you would see if you damage any public utility, whether they be underground wires, pipes, drainage, anything to that matter, it was general contractor, or if there was a home builder and it was a private builder, which in my case was plenty of times, it was our responsibility immediately to contact the parties involved. And I'm wondering, is that fine print not in our permitting? That the general contractor or the contractor who pulls the permit is responsible for immediately contacting the town for public utilities? So there's some on record and it doesn't go this far? And I would think that would be on the builder's responsibility, and I just can't imagine why in our permits we don't have some kind of clause that it is their responsibility to notify immediately. Thank you.
We've required them to contact 811 before they start digging,
I'm talking about when the general contractor actually damages something.
but no, we don't have anything like that in any of our ordinances.
Might be a good idea.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. Just trying to protect the community.
Anybody else? Anybody online?
Just us.
Just us, okay. Anybody else, last chance? Motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Do I need a roll call, Bob?
No, you can just